February 23rd, 2025. It's 2 years since my son Jeff crossed over. Leading up to this day, I was wondering, a lot of people talk about the days leading up to that day, the anniversary, angelversary is what we call it. And a lot of people say it's tougher, the days leading up to it. But I don't know. In the day itself, so many people mark these days and everything. I live this day every day. So it's not really different. I've never been big on those anniversaries and that kind of thing. This day is every day for me. So some are easier, some are harder. And on the whole, 2 years into this, I'm, by everybody's standards, probably, and probably my own, doing pretty well. Grief is such a incredibly complex thing, and I analyze it all the time. It blows your mind. It blows my mind, anyways. Some days you're cruising and I'm doing well, and I have a firm belief in the afterlife and that Jeff is present with me, and I've had contact with him, and I know that to be true. So that helps so much. And then our humanness reacts to the grief. And so the pain is present. And some days a lot more than others. It was interesting. Yesterday, I was driving around and thinking, and I thought about crying. Not crying at that time, but I thought about crying and how good it feels. Because I started to feel some heavy grief yesterday, and I didn't cry. I teared up a little bit, but I thought about the times when I've had a good cry. And it really feels good when you do it. And so, interestingly enough, this morning, I get a call from a friend of mine. And actually, before this, I saw a post. He's in the Helping Fathers Heal group that I'm in. And I saw a post by him where he was talking about having a hard cry and that it felt good. And today he called me. And we don't talk all the time at all. And he called me out of the blue because he said it was late on him to call me. Now, we know that the universe guides this, so no surprise there. But as I was talking to him, his name's Warren. His son Nolan passed away. His son Nolan, at 15 years old, had 80 songs written. And so that's a whole nother incredible story. But anyways, Warren calls me, and we're talking a little bit. And I said, do you know what today is? And he said, February 23rd. And then he goes, is it Jeff's birthday, angelversary? And I said, angelversary. And the reality is he didn't know that. He was just asking those things, but he didn't know when he called me that today was that day. And so to us, that's guided. Jeff and Nolan got together, prodded him to call me, and there it was. These things have been going on for me on a heightened level in the last few weeks. Incredible. Spiritual sense around me and synchronicities, touches from Jeff yesterday. Now, I don't normally document the things that I attribute to Jeff, but many of you know the significance of the time 1111, or the numbers 1111, and that's a spiritual sign and a touch from the spirit world. It happens to me all the time. One week it happened 7 days in a row, unprovoked. I just looked at something and it was 1111. And so yesterday, I was driving around and it came up and I documented it on my phone, which I normally don't do. I started saying I was going to start documenting these things because they happen so often. And so I just looked at, actually, what did I put in here? Let me see. In the notes. I don't know. The notes are all screwed up in here. Anyways, I put in there something about how it happened at that time or whatever, what I was doing. And I saw 1111 the time. And so today when Warren and I were talking, all of a sudden I looked at the computer time and it was 1111. So that kind of stuff's just been going on like crazy for me. And so yeah, this day, I the pain's there, yeah. To any other degree, no. It's just there. A lot, maybe because I looked at some things and you look at memories and all different kinds of stuff. I have the first angelversary memory in my Facebook memories, but I didn't post anything on this day, the day that it happened. And so that's not there. But I did search out some other things. I was looking at some pictures and doing some other things that are happening right now for me that included things from Jeff in there. So that always brings it on a little bit heavier, and stronger. And I embrace it, though. I like it. Because those are touches with him that I don't have in this physical world anymore. So it's important, and it hurts. Yes, it does hurt. It's always going to hurt. That's never going to go away. But on the whole, and Warren and I were talking about this too, I believe in this, that we are part of a collective soul consciousness with everybody and everything. And I believe that we have soul groups of people who are souls that are part of our group, that I believe that we live multiple lives and that they play roles in our lives. And so Jeff is one of those. And what it has done through Jeff playing that role and crossing over, and me being allowed to have the human impact of that, it has caused me to be enlightened. And so that is ultimately a very good thing. So I know many who have had children pass, loved ones pass. That is a very difficult concept to grasp. But that's where I am with things and what I believe. So ultimately, I do good. I feel good because of that understanding. And so that's a little insight to what's going on with me at this 2-year juncture of all of this. And I'm just doing what I am being led to do and be. I'm doing me is really all it is. So I hope that, and I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing in the results of doing the podcast and other grief ventures. And I have recently sought out how to have time to be able to foster that even more. And so about a week ago, I was seeking that. And I believe we have spirit guides. And so I was meditating and I asked the spirit guides, Jeff, source, the collective consciousness, the ultimate source, God, if you like. I sought out how I can have more time to do what I know I was called to do in this grief work and things. It was getting a little perplexing. Like I drive for 10 hours in a day to make any kind of money, Ubering, obviously. And now all of you would say, well, hello, Tom. And I'm going to give you a hello, Tom story right now. Last Tuesday or Monday, maybe, when I was really seeking this out and feeling that, pressure, like I'm making ends meet, but it's a lot of work and for not a whole lot of money. But that's what I'm comfortable doing or was comfortable doing at the time. And so, I didn't feel led to do anything else. And all of you are thinking about performing and all of that, and I understand that. So I started seeking that out. And immediately I started getting an impression about something that is an answer to that. And then the next day, the Tuesday that I'm talking about last week, I was driving and I picked up a student in North Tonawanda and took them all the way out on Baird Road, which is way up in, I don't know if it's Cambria or whatever it is up there in the North Country here in Western New York. And so way out there, and I was surprised. And so I take a ride out there. And the reality is when you Uber, you're probably not going to find a ride out there and back, so it's just, well, all right, I'll take it out there. But as I was ready to drop this kid off, all of a sudden I get another ride about 2 minutes away. And it was going back to Wheatfield, which is closer to where I live. And so I go and pick up that girl and she gets in and we start talking and I see where she's going. And it was Wheatfield Commons, which is a senior and dementia care unit like that. It's a adult home and care center. And I have performed there before because that's what I was doing full time before Jeff passed. Was I was working and I performed at over 50 facilities here locally during the weekdays at care centers, and I did that for years. And it was, sometimes over 400 shows a year doing that type of stuff. And they're hour-long shows, well paid. And so here I am taking this girl to Wheatfield Commons after I had been seeking out an answer to my situation. And this is another step along the way where it was like, hello, Tom, this is your answer. And so I started talking to her about the fact that I had performed there and everything else. And then after I dropped her off, I sat in my car and I just sat there and said, okay, I understand. It's time to get back to performing that way. Because in an hour-long show, I can make as much as I make 10 hours driving Uber. No brainer, right? Of course, everybody knows that. People have known that for a long time, but I just didn't feel it. I didn't feel like performing like that at all. And this, because of my seeking of this guidance, I knew that as a confirmation. And so it changes your perception of that. And I didn't think that I would never do that again. I just knew that I didn't feel it. And so that doesn't mean I'm going to be performing the other ways I was performing. I really don't at this time have a desire to do that at all. So I'm sorry, but I'm probably not going to be back in the bars and doing that thing. But I started seeking out the nursing homes and care centers that I performed at here with the people, the directors that I dealt with. I sent them some emails, immediately got favorable responses. And now this is the Sunday after that, not even a whole week yet. And I have 91 performances already booked through the end of the year. So I consider that a confirmation of, yes, here you are. You do an hour performance and you make as much as you do in 10 hours. So obviously it frees up the other time to be able to pursue these other things. There's already doors opening through these directors and things to be able to pursue the grief things in that situation, not singing, obviously, but different speaking engagements and things like that too. So, excuse me, that's all very positive and favorable, and the direction things are headed right now. This is a wild ride that I'm on. I feel spiritual energy happening around me in a high degree. So I would expect that some amazing things will be happening. And I am very humbled. I'm very appreciative. And I appreciate all of you and your support out there, your kind words in every regard. I appreciate so much because I love you. I love you all. And my love for humanity in general is increased through all of this. And my care for everybody's situation and what they mean to me is been increased exponentially, and I just appreciate it. So that's, I'm gonna wrap it up, I guess. I just decided to get on and talk. So that's what came out, and I'm gonna let it ride with that. All right. Love you folks. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.